She was told actually first to become a domestic helper in Hong Kong, but actually she was a victim of human trafficking to become a prostitute. I dreamt about my great-grandmother. She was waiting in a window, black and white, and positioned like this. The grandmother said, "You have to go, you must go, because you have to change your life. This is your only chance, your one ticket to go out."
The Noti presents Growth Diaries, the fascinating stories behind the best brands in beauty, wellness, and fitness. Hosted by Sudhir Koneru.
Picture a brand that does more than create products, one that creates livelihoods, builds confidence, and embodies the cultural identity of an entire nation. What began as a small garage salon in Jakarta over 5 decades ago has grown into one of Indonesia's most iconic beauty and wellness enterprises. Rooted in natural ingredients, education, and the belief that true beauty empowers from within. At the heart of this evolution is a leader who didn't simply step into a family business, but chose to return to it with the mission to scale its impact, modernize its vision, and empower thousands of women through beauty, education, and entrepreneurship. Today, Wulan Tilaar, the chairwoman of the Martha Tilaar Spa, shares what it takes to lead a generational business, build a purpose-driven ecosystem, and maintain a legacy brand relevant in a fast-changing world while staying true to its roots. Welcome to Growth Diaries, Wulan. Thanks for making the time.
Thank you. It's really nice meeting you in person, finally.
Yes. Yeah, especially right here in Jakarta. It's been a long time since I've come here.
Oh, I see. So I hope you have a very good visit, even though it's very short.
Yes. Cool. So, it's very rare that I run into a business like Martha Tilaar, which has gone through a generational change, like your parents started and you're fully running this business now. So I want to first start with understanding your background and how you got into this business. So maybe you can share a little first, before you got into the business, what did you do in terms of education and your background a little bit, and then we can get into it.
Okay. So I did my education with the graphic design and advertising background. I did my undergrad in the States and also the graduate school in the States as well. So because of my parents, both are educators, I'm very lucky that they give us, the children, the freedom to choose. Even though they know, especially my mom, who is the founder of the company, they want us to continue, of course, the business, but they still give us the freedom to choose what we like to do. So coming from the design and art background, I really appreciate the beauty and through arts, through performing arts and so forth. And I think it also in the same time make my arts and my sense of aesthetic growth gradually. So that's what I did before I joined the company. But interestingly enough, since we were very small, my mom's is consistently bring us to her office or in the factory or in the beauty school since we were little. So I think now if I'm what she tried to do was, if we want to say it's brainstorm, one. But no, in a positive way, she wants us to recognize since early time and also create loyalty of what she and her sister started in the 70s. Yeah, so I think that's what I started.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. So your mom gave you the exposure to your business,
Yeah.
but they gave you the freedom to go out and get whatever education you feel like getting, kind of stuff.
True.
And so you were in the US in Boston,
Yeah, in Boston.
finish your undergrad and grad school. And it isn't like you immediately came back after you finished school to
Yeah.
start the business, right? You actually lived a life in the US.
Yes, I want to try something else because I know right away that if I come back straight to Jakarta, my life will not be the same anymore. So I started my family in Boston. I gave birth to my first daughter and become a full-time mom, which is my mom is very nervous at that time because like, oh my God, if she really likes the role of being full-time mom, what should I do with the business, you know? So she's kind of a bit worried, but I said, don't worry, because I want to have my own time first. I want to try becoming a mom and then becoming a businesswoman. So at that time was granted. So I have 2 years, 3 years to experience becoming a full-time mom.
So that's a good experience for many people who have family-run businesses. They want to have their kids get involved. It shows giving the freedom to the kid to go do whatever they want to do,
Yeah.
and then coming back is a good way to do it. Like, to give that freedom. So that's
Yes,
nice.
that's nice. Yeah.
Great. So then you came back, and how did you get involved in the business itself once you were back? Where did you start?
I started with joining the art department. So I thought at that time, okay, my background was design, so automatically go to art department to design packaging or advertising or something like that. But when I'm doing that for 4 months only, I know it's very short, I don't feel I'm useful enough or challenging enough that I can contribute more. You know, when you are young, you're fresh, you just like want to make a difference, you know. But in that, the same principle of knowledge that I gain, I don't feel like I learn a lot. So I just appealed to my mom. I said, I want to change. I want to move to different division. So I was looking which one is suitable for me. The first division was advertising agency. So I thought that it still matched with my, competencies. But I thought again, it will be the same mistake again because art division now is the the advertising is the same, but it's bigger scale. So I thought maybe I should try something else. And then I look the opportunity into the spa and the beauty school. And then I feel like this division needs nurturing. So I feel like I think this is maybe the place for me to start so I can explore more. It's not only with the design part. Of course, I can start with the design point of view, but I can also develop something else like surface because maybe I'm a Cancer. So Cancer is the zodiac of nurture and surface. So I just find it out. So I thought that, that's why why I choose this division for me to start joining and contributing to the company.
Great.
So that's how
Great.
I landed
Great.
in the spa.
And I believe once you did get into the spa, since you were not trained in the services of the spa, you actually made an effort to learn everything about the spa. So you actually have a certification in this space.
Yes. So I feel when I started, I have no background since I was young, I know the environment setting, but I don't know the competencies and I don't know the knowledge. So I feel when I have to make a decision on how to improve surface, on how to develop new treatments, I have no idea. So that's why I challenge myself again to do the CDESCO certification for beauty aesthetics. And CDESCO has a very high standard internationally. So it means that I have to do all the things that therapist does. So manicure, pedicure, facial, body treatments, massage, and everything. So, but I really appreciate that experience because I can put myself to the therapist's shoes. So I know what to expect and how to communicate better for them to be to achieve their target, but most importantly, on how they can enjoy their profession. Because the profession of beauty therapy, hairdressing, or makeup artists, sometimes it's considered to be low, or people like tend to say, oh, it's just a hairdresser, it's just a masseur or a massage therapist. It's not a just. If you put competencies, you put your heart and soul to the profession by knowing the knowledge and the scientific approach of that, that becomes very serious profession, especially nowadays, right? You have to know the pro and contraindication on how to handle certain clients and so forth. So that's how you put value on your profession is very important.
Yeah. So that's an important point because I actually used to run spa myself, and I used to attend some of the training classes because I wanted to learn how these people are, but I never actually got the certification like you did,
Yeah.
which is to get the whole course. So that's pretty impressive. But I think you're right that, relating to the employees and their role and, making, because in a lot of the, especially in the eastern side, in the, compared to the west, it is, a lot of them are treated that way, which is, oh, it's just a massage therapist,
Yes.
versus giving it more respect, more qualification, more credential. And I think doing that and knowing that your business is largely a business of making sure you have great staff. If you don't have great
True.
staff, you don't have a great service
Yes.
and a great product. So
We
good that-
depend on them. Yes.
so I can see that you recognize that very early.
Yes.
Okay, so you got through all this and you are now, quite engaged in the business. But I do believe the business has been around for so long. There are people who've been working at the company before you
Before-
were born, maybe, or you were a kid.
That's
So
true.
how did you, engage with all these folks who were so much experienced than you?
Yes, it's a very interesting experience when I first started off. I have to face and I have to relate to the therapist that is older. They exist before I was even born. So looking at them, I also heard things that, oh, what this small child can do. And, so it depends on how we react, basically. It's important. If we say, we heard that as a bad things, or, try to look down on us, then we can get so emotional. But I think we need, in terms of that, we need to take and give, because they know how I grow up. And I also know how they contribute a lot to us. So the way I treated them, it's always take and give. I use, now it's a compassionate leadership, they call. So it's a leadership using compassion rather than I'm the boss and you're my employees. So yeah, I heard negative things first, but I just say, okay, that's true. I cannot change that. But I learn on how to respect older employees and how to put them as who they are in compassionate way. So I think that's the key.
Great.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying the show, we would really appreciate it if you left us a review on Apple Podcasts. It only takes a minute and it helps others find the podcast. You can also follow along on YouTube and Spotify so you never miss an episode. So I think all the lessons around generational transition, which is, being independent, going out there, getting your education, coming back, learning the business, really getting into understanding your employee's life by being in their shoes.
Yes.
And doing the work, and and then eventually knowing how to try, navigate all these people. Very interesting, I'm sure, because there are many businesses out there I know which are looking at the same challenge of how do they do this, and your business has been around a lot longer than others. So that's good information. So now I did want to switch gears and learn a little more about, the founding story of your mom and how did she start this. So maybe you can give color into how and why did she do this first store that she started a long time ago?
Yeah, so my mom was a historian teacher, and when she got married to my dad got a single scholarship to the U.S. with the U.S. aid. So of course they cannot afford to bring my mom to live together in the U.S. So separate ways for 8 months, and then my mom managed to went to the United States and accompanied my dad. And during that, his study, of course, being cannot, my mom is very active, yeah. So she said that, okay, I have to learn more. Maybe I have to, and then she interested in beauty. So she managed to collect money from being babysitter and work in the college salon, and then get the money and went to the school, the beauty school in Indiana, Bloomington.
Oh, right.
Yes. So with that knowledge and competencies, then she worked in the college salon, also selling Avon, the cosmetics. So she was the Avon girls. So anything she did to get extra pocket money for the new family. So after my dad graduated in 1965, they went back home. And then my mom decided she doesn't want to continue her teacher profession, but my dad continued as a government officials. So my mom started with her new competencies. She wants to open a salon. And she started in her parents' garage. It's only 4 times 6 meters square. But since it's located in a quite premium area in the center of Jakarta, where the embassy's residence and also the embassy's offices. So I think the salon picks up very well. And then using the American standard, right, with the cold and hot water, aircon. At that time, it was luxury. So basically, that's how she started the salon business. And realizing that she needs employees, then she started to train. She started to train the domestic worker, like in the houses, or anybody who interested in. But she said that she needs more because the business is growing. That's why my dad and my mom thought that if we want to build an industry, we must build the people. So because they are both teachers, they believe in education can transform humans. So they started the beauty school. So that's how it started, from salon and then to beauty school. And then later they worked together with Kalbe Pharma, is one of the biggest pharmacy company, to build a factory for cosmetics. That's in 1980s.
So before they built cosmetics, how many stores did they end up with on their own? Like
The salons,
The
yeah.
salons.
The salons, maybe 5.
5.
Yeah.
And all this growth from opening the first garage to 5 salons,
5
it was
salons.
on their own, not
Yeah.
with any money from
No,
investors.
it's the family's money. So siblings, mother, the parents and the siblings, they put money and then they just start the business
Okay.
for the salons.
Yeah, it's interesting how successful businesses get built through, unique situations where there's a calling of nature, where,
Yeah.
your mom learned everything about the industry and came back and could start it in the time it was very relevant. So, and so but she did have this beauty school well before the
The
cosmetic
cosmetics,
products.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And I'm assuming, given she grew it to 5 locations on her own, and I believe she was a teacher, as you said, so she must have been far more particular about training and process and how you treat customer, what happens, because she must have books and all that for your employees. Is that right? I mean,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, she trained herself, and also she has training as well. So both can help her to train more people at a time.
Great. And most of this training at that time was, as you said, domestic workers who hadn't improved in their career,
Yes.
etc.
Mm-hmm.
But so outside of this cosmetic stuff, you said at some point she decided to start franchising the business. So how did that come about? I heard something interesting about your mom visiting Hong Kong.
Yeah. So there's one event or occasion when my mom went to Hong Kong, when she was being asked as a motivator speakers for Indonesian migrant workers. And in that particular occasion, my mom was called by one woman calling out her name and it's like, Ibu Martha, I want to say something to you. And my mom said, oh yeah, what can I help you? I'm using your cosmetics. And then my mom saw her and she looked at her and she said, oh my God, her face, I mean, she said in her heart, her face, the women's skin was all wrinkled and old. And so I thought, my mom thought that, oh, she's going to complain about my cosmetics. It doesn't work on me, but the lady kept talking, and then she told my mom that I'm now I'm having HIV/AIDS because she was told actually first to become a domestic helper in Hong Kong, but actually she was a victim of human trafficking to become a prostitute. So she ends up with the HIV/AIDS just to support her family. So with that event, my mom thought that how can this be? A lot of Indonesian women, especially young and uneducated, maybe not skilled well, just stand off like that and not knowing how life will be. So she thought that how I can change through my business. Small things. It's not going to change the world, but maybe if I can start with my own, it can change a little bit. So that's why that event really is become an awakening for her. Then she said to the management board that I want to do something with this by train more girls, Indonesian young girls, to have a good quality of education and straight to the workforce, not have to go to the college and everything. So just train and work. That's why we decided to make our spa as a franchise business using a franchise business model.
Cool.
So yeah.
So that's interesting because, obviously she was building a financially profitable and successful business for the first 5 stores.
Yeah.
But she completely changed her priority, saying, okay, wait, even if I don't make as much money, I just want to open a lot of stores and go into the franchise business. And it's a very noble way to look at impacting things because some people can look at giving money, donating money to social cause, but this is even more impactful in the sense of how many jobs she's creating and how many people feel good about the lives that they have. And and I hear that, she ended up with an academy which was very busy because she had to send people to all these stores, which were franchise stores, which are opening. So tell us more about this academy because it's not the usual academy. People think of school means people have to pay, they show up, there's a fee,
so
it's a business.
So to sustain that franchise business, we have our training center. We call it a training center because it's a free of charge for young Indonesian women, 17 years old, must be above 17. And then we train them as a professional spa therapist, free of charge for 3 to 6 months. It depends on how they can digest the information fast or not. And then after that, and the pocket money. And after that, if they're already considered, not considered, but like graduated from the training center, then they have a guaranteed jobs opportunity in our spas. Right now, our spa, we have 40 outlets across Indonesia, in Sri Lanka, and also in Brunei Darussalam. So in that way, the mission is how we empowering women. Of course, money is very good for donation, but it's only stopped in one time. But you give knowledge, you give opportunity. I think it will transform humans' life completely different. So, and I like that stories because profit and loss, so there is good. Achieving target is great. But when I heard story about how this therapist can brought a piece of land for her dad to work on, rather become somebody pay her dad to work in somebody's people's land, that's a life awarding story for me. So maybe that's why I stuck here. I said
So-
happily stuck here.
Yeah. So you must have many such stories of women who not only changed their lives, but their
Yes.
whole family's lives
True.
because of going through the process of working with the Martha Tilaar Group.
Yeah. The one that I just mentioned is actually our domestic worker. She worked with us very young, 15 years old, because the economic situation is not good. And then my mom saw her potential and trained her as a spa therapist. And then, there are, I think, 9 siblings. And she can manage to give proper education to her 5 siblings below her. And then a piece of land for her dad to work on. Yeah, so that's one story. Another story, our company collaborate with one of the biggest paper and pulp company in Indonesia. So we recruit the girls from the foresty area. So it's a forest. And then the workers, of course, a lot of are women. So we try to reach out and recruit in the foresty area. It's a bit far from in Sumatra. And then we managed to recruit 6 at a time. And then one time I talked to one of the recruit girls at that time, and I said, why do you have the courage to say yes to our training center? Just out of the blue. And she said, oh yeah, my grandmother encouraged me. I said, why is your grandmother? So it happens that her dad abandoned the family. He went off somewhere, I don't know. So the wife, the grandmother, and the daughter stuck in the foresty area. And the grandmother said, you have to go. You must go. Because you have to change your life. This is your only chance, your one ticket to go out from this area. I mean, it's not bad. That area is not bad at all. But the grandmother saw that you have to see the world. So she said that it's kind of like dream, Bu, she said. I'm now washing my clothes in Jakarta and I have this training center, training session, this so forth. And so it's like a dream. It's so unreal. Okay, so that's good. So I thought that you are very brave. Good for you. I'm very cheering up for you. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. So now she is the spa therapist in our branch in Brunei Darussalam.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, from the small area, really secluded area, forest, to at least she can see Brunei Darussalam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, that's true very much because even in my own family, my father was from a farming family. And somewhere one person takes the leap to change, then the whole family's life and future changes. So similarly, my father chose to go educate rather than be a farmer. And that's how, we all get the luxury. So I'm sure the work that your mom has done through the beauty schools is probably transforming many generations of families in terms of that. And what I also want to flag, make sure what you were saying, your beauty school is absolutely free. It's not like somebody pays
this
for
is
it.
the training center is free, but
Training
my beauty school is not free.
Okay.
So both, the other one is
So you have
commercial.
a beauty school and you have a training center, which is
center.
really meant for
for the
completely covered with costs and taking care of these people.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because otherwise making that change for those domestic help people may be hard. They can't afford it.
Yeah. So now we have currently 6,000 alumni for the training center. So my mom said it's not big. It's only maybe 6,000, but 6,000 is changed, life change. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she could have chosen to do more stores, make more profits.
True.
But she's touched 6,000 people's lives. So that's a big impact. So great.
Yes.
So once you've started franchising today, now as you have taken over the business, Indonesia is a very different country than the US, etc. But what do you have to do to support these franchisees? What kind of systems and processes do you have to put in place?
Yeah, so we have currently we have a operation team that handles several outlets. So we designated person for that, for each outlets, also for the abroad. Also for the spa therapists, they are depend on us too, because the standard is there and the quality is there. So we have to support the therapists, the operational team, and also the products. Yeah, of course, the products currently is manufactured in our factory. So the whole system end to end is supporting for the spa business franchise. Yeah, of course, I would like to add the digital management system that can help us to integrate and also to monitor how things are run, because it's in the different locations, right? In Indonesia is so big, from East Coast to West Coast, but in the different islands. So yeah, that's maybe the next things that I would like to
So when it
implement.
comes to doing things like marketing and acquiring new customers, what role do you have to play sitting here versus what role do the individual store people play?
Yeah, for we as the franchisor, yeah, we need to set up the whole marketing plan and everything, the design and the system. But we also, since it's so different in different areas, we also have to adjust for the buying power in each area. So we have to communicate in how we do marketings. We also we have a national campaign, but we also have a local or domestic campaign that fits and suitable for the target market in specific area. Yeah, there's a coordination between the franchisee and the franchisor in terms of marketings and communication.
Cool. And going forward, now that you have this footprint, you're also exploring and building a new format, new holistic wellness aspects. Maybe you should share, where do you see things evolving with Martha Tilaar?
Yes, in the future, we are planning it's not, basically we are in progress of evolving from the spa to wellness holistically, using still our Indonesian culture and tradition, because that what makes us unique, and what makes Martha Tilaar is that's our soul, Indonesia. It cannot be replaced. So speaking on that, now people tend to find ways on healings or find ways for peaceful path using jamu, for example. That's for Indians is the concoction of herbs and so forth. Yeah, we also have that. And in India, of course, for example, you have yoga. We also have different techniques of healing and physical movement, but we're just not there yet. It's not well known yet. So I think that's our job as well, to develop and to make that people more aware on things that is already there in this culture, but not known, or not people not aware. So that's, I want to develop the wellness holistic concept for Indonesian based on the Indonesian culture.
And this is more like you're doing this as a destination thing
Yes,
for now.
for now, yeah.
And so when is the first place going to be open?
Hopefully this year, because we work together with the filas now to provide the wellness services for the treatment and for the activities. But as for our own branches right now, we develop what we call ethno wellness treatments, which is already recognized by the tourism ministry. It's already declared, because we cannot declare one Ayurvedic is Indonesian. No, cannot, because we have different tribes, we have different cultures. So we decided on 9 culture that represent ethno wellness. So now every stores or every spas, Martha Tilaar spas, you can try 9 different Indonesian ethno wellness treatments just exclusively in our spas.
Cool. So speaking of wellness, and since you're passionate about wellness and you are a mom and running a business and the schools as well, I'm curious, what do you do to take care of your own personal wellness?
Yes. As I grow older, I start to train my awareness. So I started to meditate every day. I just started in 2017, so maybe that's the hitting rock point that I need to do something. So I meditate daily, and I also love to use different aromatherapy treatments in my daily life. I also learn different healing techniques from Japanese, the Jinsenjutsu or batch flower remedies, to incorporate it in my wellness and my holistic being, because life gets harder when you're older. So there's no is not out there, but you have to go more inside. That's what I feel. If you go inside, is everything inside, but you just have to recognize it. So yeah, that's how I manage.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's so many formats and programs in the world around the exploration of ourselves. So
Yes.
I think that's nice that you are really making that a
Mm.
priority for
Oh
yourself.
yes.
So
Otherwise, it's getting crazy
yes,
and
yes,
out of
yes,
control. So yeah.
yes, great. So given that Martha Tiller has been around for so long, you must have customers when we were talking who are very old and then very young customers. So how do you work and make sure Martha Tiller remains relevant to both ends of the spectrum?
First, we have to keep up the quality, because wellness and spa, it's very intimate. It's within your intimate range. So our customer is very interesting, because from the grandmother to the grandchildren. So how we keep, first the quality of the service, quality of the therapist, quality of the products. Of course, now for the younger clienteles, we need to uh, add technology, because of the convenience of the gadget, the website or application. We must adjust and to be relevant on that. So maybe that's the next thing that we want to approach seriously. But for the older generation, we take care as a family. So our guest becomes our family. When they starting to forget things, I mean, I experienced that because they're getting very old. They started to forget things where they put their bags or whatever within the salon or spa environments, and they get angry and so forth. And but yeah, that becomes the dynamics of our spa. So everything must adaptable, sorry, not adjustable, but adaptable, in order to make our spa or the business sustain for generations, like from the old to the young ones.
Yeah, I think it's important as businesses grow over years. I had met some other business in London, which was also the same way, where they had to learn how to adapt because
Yes.
it was over time, things change and with the generations. Great. And so we've been talking about your school and the spa, etc. But you also have a foundation, and can you give us more color into
Yes.
more about the foundation?
So my foundation is basically the foundation names is Amalan Bhakti Ekata, which means Amalan is our names combined. So Alex, Martha, and Wulan. So
Oh.
it's Amalan. And in Indonesian language, Amalan means virtue or good things. And Bhakti in Sanskrit means my dedication to my parents. And Ekata means unite. My foundation is not a job, but it's my privilege as a form of my gratitude and my bhakti to my families. And how I manifest that is through two units. It's the Rumah Martha Tilaar or House of Martha Tilaar, which is our ancestor house, is 106 years old in Gombong, Jawa Tengah. And Ruang Belajar Alex Tilaar, which is in this place where we have a podcast where we keep my dad's 10,000 books and 40 writings of his writings during his time. So in this foundation, it sounds as very hard at first, but I think with goodwill and good people, I'm surrounding and blessed by a good team and good people all the way. But I think it's a blessing from above or my ancestors' blessing that with simple act of kindness or goodness, it can goes along the way. So when I started this foundation, it's actually I experienced one spiritual event. First time I went to the ancestor homes. I never been there, even though my mom was born and raised in that home. And then I just saw my great grandmother's room, but I didn't know that it was her room. So flashback in 2004. So it's when I first came back from the U.S. I dreamt about my great grandmother. She was waiting in a window, black and white, and positioning like this. And so I thought, wow, I never dreamt of her in my life. So that time I said, oh, I have to send prayers. So I did. And 10 years later, when I started the foundation, I went back to the house and it was that windows. And that windows is my grandmother's room. So in that moment, I decided right away, okay, I will take this job, not job, as a personal calling to do more about what is preserving heritage and continue the legacy of my family. So that's why the foundation was started in 2014.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful how you've framed the foundation in terms of how you've named it and thoughtful around it. But it's wonderful that you've had this kind of a spiritual experience because it shows, as you said, there's a calling that you are supposed to unfold things in this
Yes,
life in a certain
true.
way. So I'm a firm believer of spiritual aspects as well. So that's nice. That's wonderful. And your mom still does visit the stores regularly. So I'm wondering, what have you learned from her, seeing personally in terms of how you execute your business?
I think she is a great role model for us in terms of a businesswoman or a founder of her company. Her values is Jitu is discipline, jujur is honesty, and iman itu adalah the faith of God and innovation, perseverance and it's perseverance and commitment. So that's what I learned. That's the value of the company, but that's what I learned and witness every day until today. She is 88 years old and still goes to the office every day with the same commitment, the same spirit. So I think if she can change a younger body, then she becomes more, become young again and then just go and move forward. So that's what I learned from her.
Great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful that at 88, she still shows up every day at work.
Yes.
That is impressive. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. So I have a few personal kind of questions maybe. So of course, first I want to know, so how, if in a single sentence you had to say, why should a customer choose Martha Tilaar?
It's authentic Indonesian. It's a professional spas and it's service from the heart.
Great.
Yeah.
Is there, as you've gone through your education, are there any particular books or authors that have stood out which have
Yeah.
been guiding force for you?
There are a lot, but what comes in my mind is The Secret. It's a very maybe eyes, but when I read that book, it just explained to me on how the universe works, the law of attraction and everything, and how we should think and how we should act, how we should relate to each other. So basically what we focus in and the energy flows, things like that, that maybe with my religious background, it's not explained very well. So the book of Secret really translated for me in a simple way on how we should work with each other in this world.
If you're enjoying the show, we would really appreciate it if you left us a review on Apple Podcasts. It only takes a minute and it helps others find the podcast. You can also follow along on YouTube and Spotify so you never miss an episode. It's quite relevant, an app, because in the space we are in. It's about, as you said, personal work and energy of people that you're interacting with. So, the secret and understanding how energy works is important. So I'm sure you have the right grounding and all that stuff. Great. Cool. And is there any particular business that you've looked up to, that you've seen, that you admire and you've learned from the business?
Since I was young, I don't know, maybe because I'm my mom also. I also look up with the Estee Lauder because it's something that I think maybe because my mom admires, then I also become admiring the work. It's similar, almost similar stories with what she had. Maybe that's what she inspired her. But Estee Lauder also can manage through times and through generations, and how things can sustain and relate to different generation is a very challenging, especially now with me. I have to do things like that in order for this spa can be more sustainable and go global. That's basically, even though we already have branches around the world, not around the world, not around the world yet, but it's there. But I hope with my leadership or my vision for the Martha Tilaar Spa, Indonesian wellness can be more well known to the world in the global stage.
Great.
So that's what I'm praying and working for.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. It's not very common, as you said, that Indonesian wellness is well represented globally. So there's definitely an opportunity. It's about you executing now. So if somebody was starting off in this beauty wellness industry to start a new company and as a young in their career, what would you advise them? Because you've seen the industry and know quite a bit about the space.
The first advice would be just be true to yourself. Whether do you really not like loving this profession, because it goes along the way. Your breath, if you don't like it, your breath is only like lasts this much. But first, if you love it, it becomes not as a job or a burden, but it becomes your life. So first, you have to be honest. Sometimes people don't just follow. Oh, now coffee shop is booming. Just follow. Whether do you like it or do you love it or not? And you have to answer first. I think that's it. The same way as me with me too, because it seems that first I don't feel like I have choice because I have to continue my family business. And since I was young, maybe before I was there, my parents already have like manifest in my brain or something. But now with the different awareness and understanding, I just feel that I just feel I believe this is my mission in life. So first, I have to be honest whether I want to do this or not. Second, yeah, you have to have set of competencies. So you cannot trust people completely without knowing the things, the gritty and all the things that you will face, because people will just say, yeah, everything good, boss, everything good, and then there you are, you start failing. And the third one, you have to have good support system. So you have to have knowledge, you have set of skill, you have to have honesty to yourself whether you want to do this or not. Otherwise, then everything will goes along the way.
That's good advice, because I've done a lot of these interviews with founders, and I've always found those who are very passionate about what they do, they love what they do, are the businesses which do well. If you
Yeah.
don't love what you do, then you
It
can't go
becomes a
anywhere.
burden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I faced when the first time I started the company, because of my privilege, the big names. It becomes a burden somewhat for me. But my good friend said that it's just how you look at things. If you think that it's a burden, then it will become a burden. If you see as a privilege or opportunity, then it becomes an opportunity. And when I start to shift my point of view to become a privilege and an opportunity, then I work better, I feel better, I perceiving things better than when I saw that as a burden. So that changing moment also helps me a lot as a second generation. Yeah.
Nice. And I think building a business is a long journey. So if you don't approach it with not feeling like it's a burden, it should be a pleasure. It's hard to survive and sustain because you'll think you'll be finished in 2, 3 years and you'll make money. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It takes 20 years. And so you need to enjoy what you're doing.
True.
So, yeah, it's been wonderful, Wulan, meeting you, learning about your business and the history with your mom's thing. And I think more than the impact of how big is this business, the impact it's having in the world with women in particular really stands out for me personally. And,
Yes.
really hats off to your mom for switching gears along the way and saying, no, I'll make this a passion about other women and not
Yes.
just about making money. And so I think it's a beautiful story.
Yes, thank you so much for giving the opportunity for me to share the story of Martha Tilaar and the second generation. And I hope this podcast can inspire more in women's leader to make an impact on how she can change and transform human lives through their business.
Great.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Growth Diaries is brought to you by Zenoti.